It's better to remain quiet and be thought a fool than to speak and remove all doubt. They say they'll misinterpret your meekness for weakness, your humility for being an easy mark. I don't want anybody to assume I'm an easy mark and think that they can take advantage of me. That's not what I'm all about. That's not good. But the positive attribute that we think about for people called meekness or humility, they can often be misinterpreted and mistaken for being a weak person, an easy mark, a sucker. That's a tough trade-off. You don't want to be seen as an easy sucker and someone try to take advantage of you because they think that you're worthless and weak. Welcome back to my week. Today's Monday, starting off another beautiful week. And as usual, I'm going to bring you along through my entire week and show you how I go about winning the week. Every week. Every week's a winner. It's my lunch break, and I'm just going to run over and run some errands real quick. Get a few things knocked out on the old lunch break. So I think a really good expression of this positive human attribute that I'm trying to get my mind around would just be phrased as humility, right? Being a humble person, not being overly prideful. Nobody likes a full of crap, arrogant person, right? And I think it's tough to gauge how much you yourself are arrogant. I think it's tough to know. Maybe that's something that you kind of need other people to help you out and help you gauge, because the problem is the more arrogant and prideful you are, the less you're going to think you're arrogant and prideful. The most prideful person in the world thinks they're extremely humbled. It's part of being prideful. And the most humble person in the world probably thinks that they're full of crap and arrogant, you know? What a catch-22 we got going here. So how do you be humble and accurately gauge, if you're too arrogant or you're too humble, or, if you're in that Goldilocks zone, you're just right? A lot of traffic out here on the roads for a middle of a day on a Monday. What's going on? Well, I guess I'm out here. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. If I'm out here, so can they be, right? Don't be arrogant about it, Scotty. So I guess one way that you could try to be honest and get an accurate, honest perception about yourself would be, like maybe to depend on other people, to ask other people, have a open and frank conversation with somebody you trust. Say, hey, am I too arrogant sometimes? Am I too full of myself? Is that something I need to work on? And ask them to be honest with you, And hopefully they feel comfortable enough around you to tell you the truth, especially if it's not what you want to hear. Boy, what's more valuable than a friend who's willing to tell you something you're not willing to hear, right? Kind of having a hard time coming up with an easy answer to what's another way to keep yourself in check from being, overly arrogant, other than depending on other people to tell you. Like I said, if you're arrogant, you're going to think you're humble. And if you're humble, you're going to think you're arrogant. The humble person always thinks they're worse than everyone else because they think that, they don't think they're all that. I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. You guys let me know down in the comments if there's a way that I'm not thinking of. Maybe there's a way I'm not thinking of. Maybe it'll come to me. I have to think about this one. This one's a toughie. Well, good afternoon. It is after quitting time on a Tuesday. And yesterday I was talking to you about humility and gentleness, meekness, this idea of hey, the meek will inherit the earth, so that's got to be a good thing, right? But I was thinking today that, another way to think about it is that there's this quiet strength that some people possess. Just got to make a quick little drop off, basically just right across the street from where I live, not far. So there's this quiet strength. Some people that you come across, they possess this quiet strength that just exudes from them. They don't have to say anything. They don't. I heard a really cool term for a Italian word, and I don't remember what it was now. I'll put it up on screen. It's actually still open on my computer back home. I got a page about it open. It was like Italian, I forget, it was like sperazzo or something, something like this. Anyway, the translation, what it means is, it's this ability to look effortless in doing things. Like everything comes easy to you. Just a very casual, breezy, easygoing coolness. And I think that's tied to this idea of a quiet strength that I was thinking about. That's tied to what I was thinking about, This being Tuesday, I released the final video in my 3-part series that was kind of the assignment for Rob the Maritimer's. Here we go. Rob the Maritimer's little, the YouTube coach guy. He had a little challenge going for the month. Released 3 videos. Oh, this is the wrong section. He had this challenge, right? Release 3 videos, and since I already released videos, I made it hard on myself by doing embarrassing things in public. Well, this morning, my 3rd and final video on that came out. That was on. That was the one where I went dancing in public, dancing at Publix. All right, give me a second. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So I was thinking, these embarrassing myself in public videos were a lot of fun to make, and I think they're very productive. I think I might call it Mission Embarrassment and continue the series, the journey. Continue the experiment, as it were. Traffic is busy at 5 o'clock at night, isn't it? Well, 6 o'clock at night. So I think I might make a few more. I just need some suggestions from you guys on some other embarrassing things to do in public related to talking to a camera or whatever else you come up with. I don't know, maybe if I continue to make myself embarrassed in the hopes of becoming unembarrassable, I will begin to adopt a trait of meekness, humility, gentleness, a quiet strength. Maybe I'll learn to adopt that by becoming unembarrassable. I don't really know if that's connected, but I can hope. One can hope. Reminds me of this title of a book by C.S. Lewis called, you guys remember that book? It was called That Hideous Strength. C.S. Lewis, That Hideous Strength. I have no idea what that book is about. I think it's a science fiction book. And I have no idea if the title is related or appropriate at all to what I'm talking about here. Maybe I should read that book. Maybe I should take this as a sign to go read that book, Scott. All right, well, I'll think about this a little bit. And tomorrow's Wednesday morning. Breakfast with my buddies. Been having breakfast with the same group of guys every Wednesday morning for, 25 years, something like that. Not exactly the same group of guys. Some guys come, some guys go. It's slow. But mostly it's the same guys. I mean, it's 90% same guys. 10% newcomers. But that's okay. I was a newcomer at one point. What are you honking at, man? Maybe he was honking at me. Just wanted me to know that he's there. And that he sees me. And he wants my autograph. See, I told you I was humble. Anyway, all right. I want to think about it a little bit more. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Probably on my way to breakfast, but maybe on the way back from breakfast. It just depends. It just depends, you guys. You never know. We'll see how it goes. But either way, I'll talk to you sometime tomorrow. We are winning this week, you dudes. Winning this week. You guys remember back in the 80s when you'd be cruising the mall? There's always like a frame shop that sold picture frames and posters and paintings. And there was always one usually stuck out by the front door, it seemed like. It's a poster of James Dean in his Rebel Without a Cause role, his outfit, you know, and he kind of had this look off into the distance, you know, that really cool, suave look. And at the bottom of the poster, if you remember, it said, "The birth of cool." Remember that? Unless, you know, in the past 40 years, I'm just conflating two totally separate memories, which is possible. I think The Birth of the Cool was the name of a Miles Davis album too, but I remember these posters, James Dean, and I think it said The Birth of Cool on it, right? And when I think about this concept of gentleness and, you know, being a humble person, there's this sense of coolness that also sort of permeates that vibe. For me, anyway, you know, I don't know, maybe I'm alone in this, but I think there's a certain, like, detached coolness associated with people who are gentle in spirit, you know, kind-hearted, quiet. I talked yesterday, right, about that inner strength, that quiet strength, and there's a coolness that exudes from that as well. Happy Wednesday, by the way, as I told you. Wednesday morning, heading over to have breakfast with my buddies, passing by the fire station, and got the fire trucks all lit up with all their lights are running at the same time on all the trucks. They must be showing off their lights to somebody. So Wednesday special to me because that's when I have my weekly live stream every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here at this here YouTube channel. Come on by, do a live stream, usually go for about an hour or so. And it's just a nice hangout with all the cool kids. We all gather around the lunchroom table, talk about what's going on this week. I talk a little bit about behind the scenes on the channel, what's happening. I'll probably talk a little bit tonight about the Dancing in Public video. And, you know, Monday's video came out, and I did an experiment running it at midnight instead of, you know, 10 or 11 in the morning. I'll talk about why I did that at the live stream and if it worked, if it did anything, it had any impact at all. I'll talk about that tonight. Of course, by the time you're watching me now, for you, it's next week. So you won't be able to join tonight's live stream. By the time you watch this, you'll be joining next week's live stream, in which we'll be talking about other cool and awesome stuff. Guaranteed. So come on by. I saved you a seat. I got you a spot right here. Join us at the cool kids table. If you forgot your lunch money, don't sweat it. I'll share my fries with you. We'll have a good time. Nice hangout. Say hi in the chat. Let us know you're there. It'll be a good time. It's always a good time. Honestly, it's one of the best times of my entire week, and I know a lot of other people feel that way. We got a good group of regulars, but there's always new people dropping in saying hi, and that's why I hope we catch a couple of new ones as well. If you've never been to the live stream, come over to this YouTube channel, Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, whatever that is in your time zone, and I'll see you over there. And I'm going to actively try practicing the art of shutting up. Not on camera, because that would be a very boring video, but, you know, like this morning at breakfast with my buds, it's a good opportunity. What was it? Mark Twain made a comment or a quote, right, that said, never miss a perfect opportunity to shut up. Something like that. That guy from Missouri was smart. I think there's a coolness to being the strong, silent type, the quiet, chill guy, the one that doesn't talk a lot in a group. When he does speak, it's impactful, it's meaningful. You know, I think that's a gentle spirit. That's gentleness personified. So I'm going to practice that. I don't know what you guys think. You be you. You got to be you. If you're the loud and boisterous one in a crowd, so be it. That's fine too. But we'll see how it goes. I'm going to have a good breakfast either way. I'm going to get 2 eggs over easy on rye toast because that's what I always get. Got a spot right here up front by my friend Javier's car and my friend Jim's car. Javier and Jim, shout out. All right, let's go get some breakfast at the original Pancake House. I'll see you in a minute. Welcome back. That was delicious, guys. As predicted. As predicted, a fantastic. Do I have any, do I have food in my teeth? Do I have pepper in my teeth? Fantastic breakfast. 2 eggs over easy on rye toast. A little bit of salt and pepper. Would recommend. One of these days, one of you guys is going to show up, knowing that I'm at the original pancake house here in my fair city. You know I come here on Wednesdays. When are you guys going to come someday and show up and surprise me? Won't that be a hoot? Hey, one thing I want to do is I want to remind you, sometimes I encourage people to send me a short video telling me how you are winning your week. And wouldn't you know it, if my good friend Mike from Mike's Adventure Sparks, he's got a nice little YouTube channel. He's a good guy. His channel shows him kind of, well, he's got a cool camper on the back of his Dodge Ram pickup truck. And he works so far from home that during the week he lives out of the camper. And recently he's been going through some hard times. They cut him loose from his job and having problems with the camper. He was dying of heat. You know, it's hot in Minnesota this time of year. No AC in that camper, trying to sleep at night. Man, poor Mike. But listen, that guy, he sent me this short video that I'm going to share with you, telling me how he is winning his week. So let's watch Mike.
Hello. How am I winning the week? Well, somebody gifted me a campsite. I no longer have to sleep in Walmart parking lot. And not only that, they gifted me AC. I have AC for my RV now. And I got a job this week. So, new job, campground, AC, and it's got showers. Definitely love it. Winning the week.
Well, thank you, Mike. That's awesome, buddy. Proud of you, man. I tell you, listen, things are going good for Mike right now. But the thing about Mike is he kept a positive attitude and an upbeat mental space even when things weren't going that great. And that's a good lesson we can all take away from Mike is, you know, even when the sun doesn't look like it's shining, you got to remember it's going to come out. The sun's going to come out for you, bud. Somebody should write a song about that. The sun will come out day after tomorrow. Something like that. I don't know. You write the song. Make it up. Let me know. But anyway, that's all I got for you right now. That's all I got for you right now. I'm going to start my day knowing that tonight's Wednesday. We got the live stream tonight. That's going to be awesome. All right. Thanks for hanging out with me. I will catch up with you either later today or whenever I reach over and press record on the camera again, basically. I will see you then. Do you guys remember a saying? Who said this? I have no idea who said this quote, but do you remember this saying that it's better to remain quiet and be thought a fool than to speak and remove all doubt? Welcome back to the week. It is Thursday evening here. Headed out. Thursday nights, I typically have band practice over at the church. Play music in the church band and have for a long, long time. See, you learn something new about me every week. So, yeah, this idea of gentleness, I was talking about this with you yesterday, this idea of gentleness being somehow connected to speaking less and, you know, kind of holding your peace a little bit, part of tied in with the strong silent type and the being cool. I think there's something to it. I think it is a sub-feature of gentleness to be a less spoken person. You know, maybe it's a let your actions speak for you kind of thing. Maybe you don't talk so much. Maybe you just let your actions speak for you. Or maybe you don't need to speak because people know, you know, you're not the type of person to talk about what you're going to do. Maybe that's part of it. I've always been struck by, there's this, I forget where, you know, this place in the Bible, I forget where, they were talking about somebody and they said he never let his words drop to the ground. It's like a good guy, one of the good guys in the Bible. So that's a good thing, right? I was always struck by that phrase that this person, I don't even remember who it was, dudes. This person never let his words fall to the ground. So he never had a careless word. There was never anything he said that was careless or meaningless or useless or unimportant. Everything he said was important. No trivial, foolish tomfoolery was spoken, you know? Kind of like that. I find it appealing. I certainly don't live up to it. It's something to, I don't know, it's something to aspire to. That's kind of cool. I don't know, maybe it's something I got to work on. Let's get out of the turn lane up here at the stoplight, coming to a red light. I don't want to hold up anybody who wants to turn right. Since I'm going straight, there's no reason for me to sit in the right lane, which is a straight lane too, but somebody might want to turn. Never miss a chance to shut up. I was talking to you about that one yesterday. Good old Mr. Mark Twain, I think that was his quote. At least that's my memory. Never miss an opportunity to shut up. Something like that. You know, the people of Sparta had a way of speaking that was so famous that even now, you know, how long ago was that? 2,500 years ago, we know how they spoke. And there's a word that describes that way of speaking that refers to them. If you're someone who speaks very tersely and abruptly and with short sentences, get right to the point, no dilly-dallying around and being fluffery and flowery with your speech like I am right now, that's somebody who we would say is laconic. You guys know that word, laconic? L-A-C-O-N-I-C, laconic. Comes from the way that we know that they spoke in the part of Greece, Laconia. It's where the Spartans were. You know that movie 300, right? Where 300 Spartans stood against like 100,000 Persians at the hot gate. Held them off long enough for the whatever had to happen strategy-wise for the Spartans to eventually, I don't know, anyway, they didn't talk a lot. They had their little short fragments. Fragments. They had their fragmented speech. Probably the most famous quotation of them is when, the king of Persia told them, surrender and lay down your weapons. Their response was 2 words, Molon Labe. It means, come and get them. So the king says, lay down your arms and surrender. Lay down your swords. And they said, come and get them. Come and take them. You think you're all that? You ain't all that. Mr. King of Persia. What was that guy's name? Agamemnon or something like that? I forget the name of that king. But we won't forget the way that the Laconians spoke is laconic. I think it just goes back to that art of cool, the gentleness, the humility, the, not being a blabbermouth, right? Never missing an opportunity to shut up. It's kind of ironic for me to be talking about that to you, considering that this channel is all about me just blabbering away to you endlessly and just talking out ideas to you out loud, which is how it's how I think. It's how I come to ideas. It's how I come up with how I think and what I think is just by speaking out these ideas and talking through them and chewing on them with you, my closest friends. All right, well, I'm going to keep on chewing on this gentleness thing. Tomorrow's Friday. We got through this week yet again, another win, you dudes. My closest friends, my beloveds, another win. Beautiful sunset here in South Florida. I'll see you sometime tomorrow, unless I think of something to talk to you about tonight. You never know, it might happen. I'll see you later. All right, question for you. Do you think that these videos that I've been doing lately on intentionally embarrassing myself would make for a good series? Like, should I continue those? I had originally been doing these videos on intentionally embarrassing myself as part of a a challenge, a 3-video challenge. You know, there's this YouTube coach who helps you make, better channels, help you be a better YouTuber. His name's Rob the Maritimer. If you do YouTube and you're not really watching him, what are you doing with your life, man? But he had this challenge, which was pretty fun. We had a good time, to put out 3 videos. And I got to straighten this camera. It's going to bother me if it continues to be crooked like that. So he had this challenge, put out 3 videos this month. And I had been putting out videos already. So I took it a step further and I decided to just, do the challenge with 3 videos that take me outside my comfort zone. And I had a good time doing the filming in public thing, filming in a very crowded place thing, very, very difficult for me, but good for me. I've told you before, I agree with Scott Adams' premise that if you put yourself in embarrassing situations often enough, then you will become less susceptible to embarrassment and harder to embarrass. That was the whole point there, intentionally embarrassing myself to make myself unembarrassable. Well, the challenge is over. I did it. My 3rd video was dancing in public, and I had a good time. You guys, those videos did better than my normal videos, right? Oh, there's a dragonfly stuck in here. Let me see if I can get him out of here. Can I catch him? Come here, dragonfly. There you go. Out you go. Goodbye. If you grab a dragonfly by the tail, you can usually relocate him safely without hurting him. Don't catch the wings. So those videos obviously people like to see someone humiliating themselves, embarrassing themselves in public, but I think that a lot of people are also interested in the topic of how to avoid being embarrassed or how to limit how much they're being embarrassed. And it might be helpful to people to make more videos on that topic and kind of expand on this idea of how to become immune to being embarrassed. So I'm thinking, this video series that I've been doing with you guys, I forget how many videos it's been so far, 7, 8, something like that. There's one more topic I want to cover next week, and that's the final video in this series. I've been spending all week talking to you guys about gentleness and being a gentle-minded and a gentle-spirited person. Less boisterous, less jerk. So I think I might lean into the mission embarrassment topic after that series is over, after next week. But I'm interested to hear from you. If you made it this far in the video, here we are on Friday now. This is my lunch hour. Going over to pick up lunch. Me and Mrs. Winning the Week, treating her to Pasquale's Pizza. Possibly the best pizza in my town. There's a few others that I like as well, but boy, Pasquale's, they really know how to do it, and they're not far. I ordered a Stromboli. You ever had Stromboli? A lot of people don't know about Stromboli at an Italian restaurant. Think of it as a Hot Pocket for grown-ups. Baked bread with mozzarella and all kinds of meat and veggie toppings inside of it. Ooh, baby. So I'm having a Stromboli, but Mrs. Winning the Week's going to have a couple slices of pepperoni. That's going to be our lunch. So this is my lunch break for Friday. So if you made it this far, like I said, what was I saying? Goodness. If you made it this far all the way to Friday, and here you are watching, 25, 30 minutes into the video, and you're still hanging in there with me, well then leave me a comment down below. First of all, leave one that says, I was still there listening on Friday. But also let me know what you think about this idea of leaning into the mission embarrassment, embarrass myself in public, become unembarrassable, and maybe help other people learn to be less embarrassed in public and learn to be a little bit more at ease and a little bit more comfortable. Because I think a lot of people would probably like that and learn from that. But I want to hear from you as well. And if you've got ideas and suggestions about things I can do to embarrass myself further, I'm all ears on that too. So I've gotten some great suggestions from some folks. I've heard some really funny ideas about how I could be or should be further embarrassing myself. Some ideas like going into an elevator and, you know, talking to the camera in an elevator with people in it, that would be so embarrassing. I don't know, singing to myself at the grocery store with people around, that would be a little bit on the humiliating side too. That's something I'm thinking over. So you tell me what you think. I'm very curious and interested to hear that. Let's grab the camera here. I'm going to take you with me. I'll take you on inside with me, but I'm pretty much done talking about this subject. So I think I'm going to take a walk after work, and I'll probably catch up with you guys and wrap it up. Sound like a good idea? We'll go on a walk together and finish off our week. Establish that we have won. Look at that. Pasquale's Pizza and Subs. Sounds like a good idea. I'll talk to you after lunch. I'll see you in a little bit.
How you doing today, Scott?
You didn't even make me wait today, huh? You're ready to go already?
There you go.
They're not here today.
Just sign it for me, please.
Thanks, man. See you guys later. All right. Mission accomplished. Not mission embarrassment, mission Stromboli. All right, I'll see you after work. We'll go for a walk together today. Be nice. Maybe like after work and after dinner. I know just the place. I told you I would take you out for a walk tonight after dinner. Well, here we are. You can always count on me for a good time. This is one of my favorite parks in town here. We're catching it right at sunset. In fact, there's been times when I've sort of jokingly called this my own personal private park. As you can see, nobody comes here. Nobody comes here because it's not technically like a park, but it's a park. I mean, it's a park, but it's an archaeological preserve. Take a look at this. Margate, Blount, Archaeological Park. See, there's a little park bench here where you can chill out and enjoy this open field, which is fenced in with this wooden fence, because this is an archaeological preserve where they discovered some ancient civilization remains here when they were actually plowing up the land to farm it in the 1950s. It's always quiet, it's always peaceful. Once I have come here and there's been a couple of teenagers sitting on the park bench just chilling. And I got to tell you, if I could have any house or live in any house in town right across this canal from the park, there's a string of houses sitting on this lake out here facing this quiet preserve where there's nobody here, nobody makes any noise except the Tequesta Indians who lived here 2,000 years ago. These guys there was a little village here, well, they weren't that permanent, but there was a little village here about the same time that the Roman Empire was occupying England 2,000 years ago. They found mammoth bones here. They found pottery. They found signs of their cooking areas, their campsites. So this is a great place and a great way to wrap up my week. Ended up here at one of my favorite little outdoor getaways. And I got you here with me too. So what did we learn this week? Gentleness, the idea of gentleness, calmness, being chill. I think it's a beneficial attribute for a person to have and hold. Man, it's funny. All these people's backyards face onto this paradise back here, and nobody's spending any time on their backyard. Nobody's out back enjoying this time of night. The only other attribute that's related to this idea of gentleness or humility and quietness that I think maybe we would want to explore a little bit is this idea of, what do you think about forgiveness? The ability to be someone who easily forgives someone, who easily is able to forgive injustices and wrongs against them, especially when, someone has made an honest, contrite apology about something they've done to wrong you. I think that the kind, gentle person is probably quicker to forgive them than I am. That's something that I really got to work on and get better at, is being a good forgiver. I'll work on that. Little flock of, this won't show up on these cameras. Little flock of ibises. And some lightning off in the distance because there's storms in the area. It's been stormy and I see some lightning down off the distance. If it was any closer, I wouldn't want to be out here in the open. But I think we're good now. Yeah, there's the thunder fort right there. So that's about 10 miles away probably. Well, thank you for coming along with me this week. Thanks for hanging out all week long with me here. I appreciate it. Don't forget about our live stream on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's always a fun time. I'd love to see you over there. This is not going to show up, I guess, on the camera very well, but this little raised mound right here, that's where they actually found the village remains. The remains that they pulled out of this place were eventually returned to the Seminole tribe of South Florida, and that's not the same tribe that they found here. The people they found here was the Tequesta from 2,000 years ago. They don't exist anymore, but the Seminoles are kind of the modern stewards of Native American rights and everything else down here. They're the ones with all the casinos and all the money. So those remains were turned over to them, and they interred them privately. They don't really open up those ceremonies to the public. All right, again, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for coming around here to the park with me. Thanks for spending your whole week with me, honestly. I feel like I spent my whole week with you. Good times, good times. I'll see you guys next week. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.